Lastly, lastly, that question originally when I drafted it was more related to free agency, but it still holds true. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have cap issues and they have quarterback issues. No,
I mean, yeah, unless you count Baker Mayfield as the
no,
savior of
no,
the
no, no. You count him.
Buccaneers
He's been
franchise.
solid at times, but he's
Yeah,
not
I know,
gonna.
I know.
You're not gonna rely on him. It's not a good option.
So yeah, with the Buccaneers, it was kind of obvious that after Brady retires, they're gonna go back to the same way they were before him. I mean, the fact that it's really funny that the Bucks team as a whole they kind of fell apart as soon as Brady left. But if you look at the team, I mean, yeah, it's right here. They lost a couple receivers. They don't really have a good running back on the team. It's still a decent defense, I would say. But overall, it's not a strong enough roster, especially with the quarterback options you have,
Yeah.
and they're not picking high enough to get a solid
Yeah.
quarterback this year. So this year it's either Kyle Trask or Baker Mayfield. Kyle Trask they spent a second round pick on a couple of years ago. Mayfield technically still a first overall pick from a couple of
Mhm.
years ago. So I think they're gonna let them battle it out in camp, and then we will see next year. I mean the NFC, as I said multiple times, it is weak. I think the Bucks, at least defensively, still have quite a bit of quality to
Mhm.
perform. But if they have one of these quarterbacks starting, I just don't see them going far. And then with the cap situation, it's like
Currently, they have just 5 million remaining.
yeah, but that's always something that you can work around.
Yeah,
Like with the
that's
New Orleans Saints,
yeah,
we hear it like
yeah.
for years that they are in
Yeah.
cap hell.
Although you'd usually do that earlier in the off season.
Yeah, I mean, I think they cleared up some, but they also had to like Sean Murphy Bunting is gone, for example. Uh, yeah, Mike Adverse. So like they did lose a couple players, but overall they kept a lot of the core together. I mean, they still have Evans and Godwin as well as receiver. Uh, I don't think they're in like a horrible position, but I think they're definitely candidates to like aim for the number one pick maybe next year,
Mm-hmm.
because if they just start off the season bad and you see Mayfield or Trask whoever starting just performing poorly, I can see them start tanking early on,
Yeah.
October, November maybe, because at that point, yeah, you don't really have a quarterback. You need a quarterback. Defense is, as I said, relatively still quite built up. Offense is
It's not
getting
looking
there.
good.
It's not as good as it was like maybe like 2 years ago, but it's still solid. So yeah, I mean, they just need a quarterback, but this year they're not gonna have it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
And unless you
tough
perform really
situation.
badly, it's gonna be
Yeah,
difficult.
but I mean, NFC South is still like quite poor, so they could still win it. I mean,
Yeah.
it depends on whether you trust like Bryce Young on the Panthers more than Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bryce
Well,
Young
it's
could
not,
easily
nothing's
be
gonna
better.
happen alone by themselves, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, but quarterback is still like such a
Such
important
an important
position
position,
that
yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
compare. I mean, who else is
But at least
Desmond
Baker
Ridder?
Mayfield has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and the Panthers.
And like a solid offensive line. They need a tackle. They need to draft a left tackle because Donovan Smith is gone now. But still one of the best right tackles in the league in Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah.
So solid
Yeah.
weapons.
Yeah.
This guy Kid Otten as well, second year guy, tight end. He's solid.
Yeah. So although they're looking disappointing, if Bryce Young doesn't have some historic rookie year, they're probably gonna still
would-
be in the chase.
I would say they're still probably the second best team behind the Saints. But then again, I look at the Falcons, and the Falcons had a decent offseason. So it's kind of it again depends on Desmond Ridder. Like this division is going to be really interesting because a lot of it will come down to quarterback play purely, because you have Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask who
Yeah.
both need to prove themselves again. Desmond Ridder who just needs to prove
Yeah.
himself for the first time, and then you're gonna have one of the rookies there and Derek Carr. So there's such a
Yeah.
big gap between that one quarterback and the rest of
Yeah.
the division. Is that
Yeah, and
unless-
neither of them, none of them actually have some tremendous weapons. So you're gonna see
no.
them really what they can do by themselves, how
Yeah.
much they can carry their teams.
Like each of these teams has like one, maybe two like good weapons, but for the rest of it, it's like
Yeah, but they'll
Really
have to
interesting.
they'll have to really spark.
yeah,
quarterbacks individually.
especially someone like Desmond Ridder. I think he needs a big season because he was a third round pick I think
Yep.
last year. So if he doesn't play well, he wasn't a high enough draft pick to warrant like for the Falcons to keep them as a starter in the 2024 as well if he doesn't play as well. So they're just gonna look to get a new quarterback next year probably. So he has to perform. He knows that. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a really interesting division.
Yeah.
Uh,
Not necessarily a strong one, but an interesting.
not quality wise, but I think it's gonna be entertaining.
Oh yeah.
In like
Oh
rankings.
yeah.
So
Like last year, they were all bad, but it came down to the
Yeah, I mean-
penultimate week of the season.
yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch at least for a while. Maybe not for the fans of the teams, but
Oh yeah. They're.
I can't imagine for Falcons fans watching the Falcons at any time was
Yeah,
fun.
I know Saints fans who are not happy
Yeah, I mean,
last year.
last year was
Yeah.
especially like okay, yeah, their coaching situation as well with Dennis Allen. That's another thing.
Yeah.
So that might cost them the NFC South next year because even though you have Derek Carr, you still have Dennis Allen, who I don't
Mhm.
think is a great head coach. So
Yeah.
he might
Yeah.
bottle it.
Yeah.